Go Blues. Come on. Come on.
Spook.
We're home. We're home. What?
What are you doing? What's wrong?
I just dreamt that I bagged for Carlton. We won the flag.
Spook, you're a Collingwood supporter. We lost by 10 goals on Thursday night.
Oh, thank fuck for that.
Welcome to Collingwood Rant. I'm Sly.
And I'm fucking dead Spook.
Spook.
What's the bear doing? Has he given up? The bear and whatever the fuck that is has put his back to the camera.
Yeah.
Does that mean we're shit?
Well, some people might know that outside of life here, I'm a writer and I've been working on this.
You written anything good?
Yeah. So I've been working on this and here, let me give it a read. What the fuck?
You didn't get Shakespeare being this succinct.
What the fuck?
Twice.
How's the faith, by the way?
What, George Michael's album?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Did you anticipate a 10-goal drubbing?
No.
Did you anticipate a listless performance where they're running around like millionaires? Everyone's waiting for someone else to do things. They're running to the wrong positions.
I would imagine if I'm a millionaire, I'd run with a little bit more intent.
Run right off. Alright, so I don't know where to fucking start this. Where's the post-mortem? You know, we keep saying we're not going to swear, but this is what you do to people, Collingwood.
I'll have a crack at it. We're shit.
We are actually shit. This is like a Buckley-esque 2017 team.
I don't think we were that bad under Buckley. Now?
It's fallen away, but I don't think it's fallen away as suddenly as people think. I think it was breaking apart over the last 6-7 weeks, which we were raising red flags about.
Correct.
And there were people, and you know who you are.
Who was it?
I don't know.
Collingwood Jay?
J. Bruce Ismay.
Who?
J. Bruce Ismay.
Who's Jason Bruce Mesme?
He was head of the White Star Line, who said the Titanic couldn't sink.
So even God herself couldn't sink it. So should we say that about Collingwood? Even God himself can't sink it?
Well, it is. I mean, it's just been leaking. The bow was being... No, it was the stern... It was the fore. The fore was going...
I was fairly stern on Thursday night.
It was going underwater, and you can see this, and there have been problems, and people are going, you're too hard on our players. Houston's part of the most miserly defence, so stop complaining.
If we move the deck chairs around, everything will be fine.
I'll actually go to this because we're watching some really intelligent football discussion on one of those football shows. I can't
Which
remember.
one was it?
I don't fucking remember. That was the one that Xander Maguire did with Kate McCarthy?
Yeah.
You know Xander looks like Rigel from Farscape? Did you ever watch Farscape?
No, so your joke is lost on me.
Yes. So, just talking about the play rating. So, from round 1 to 17 versus round 18 to 22, thanks Kate McCarthy and Xander, you're great in Buffy. Crisp has dropped from 37th in the league to 128th. Elliott, 68th to 495. That was...
Keep breaking those records, boys.
Houston, 196. I don't know. Why'd you rate him?
He started from a great... What did he drop to, though?
285.
Well, he's improving.
Long 97 to 287. McStay 285. He's just ready. He was where Houston replaced him.
He goes, it's not so far to fall from there, he reckons.
To 350.
How many more players are underneath 350?
To 350. More 78th to 119th. And Sidebottom 53rd to 252nd in terms of their player rankings. Now, some of them, like we've spoken about Sidebottom, he was playing in the middle the first 6-7 weeks, and then they pushed him outside, and he's been shit ever since. And if you remember, last year, he was playing on the outside and he was really shit. When they put him in, he started playing really well toward the end of the year. Now, let me balance that up. Which one would you pursue?
I don't know. You got to go with the numbers, don't you?
Yeah.
The club has access to this number stuff.
Elliott, it was spoken about this earlier. Elliott, McStay, it doesn't work. And it's not because of McStay, the player is or anything. It's
McStay said he could be ranked 349 if Elliott didn't get in his way.
The McStay memory, my check thing doesn't work. When do they acknowledge it? Like, I mean, they kicked 5 goals collectively against Richmond, but I could have kicked 5 goals against Richmond.
They'll probably acknowledge it in March next year.
It doesn't work, and it feels like they don't want to drop Membry or axe him because it's like, well, we brought you over, and they don't want to, they can't drop McStay because he's rucking. really not well, but he's rucking.
No, and I think that's been a problem for a couple of weeks. Is one of them has to go, and they can't make that decision.
But
and it's not a question of I don't know which decision to make. They just don't want to make it.
But it's one where you can't drop McStay. Like if I had to drop on, I'd drop McStay. But then who rucks? Is it you sent Frampton up there?
That Cox guy.
But then you bring in another tall. So like if I was going to bring Cox in, I'd be getting rid of both of them. Unless you're going to play McStay purely as a defender or something, or one of them is purely as a defender. I don't think they actually do enough, regardless of when they're kicking the goal or two. They just don't do enough in general. But anyway, then you got three of them who are nullifying each other and all doing less, and now they've nullified Elliott. So that's really appalling. You had Howe going down in about the first 90 seconds.
How many... I didn't go to the game, obviously, but it was just like... If there was a worst possible fucking start to this game, I don't know what it could be.
Do you think Newcomb went to lay him out, or do you think Newcomb was contesting the ball? Does Newcomb have a case to answer?
Well, we've talked about this. I'll give it again because they weren't listening.
We were talking that in text, so they could have listened. They still wouldn't have seen it.
I even thought at the time when they first showed the replay, and always that first replay showed it at normal speed, that I thought Howe had eyes for the ball, and Newcomb came in looking at the ball and then looked at Howe and then looked back again and then opened his arms and hit him. I think if you had to be impartial about this, because apparently the MRP tell us all the time that players have about 68 days to make decisions before impact, I think that's one clear-cut one where he could have chosen as a duty of care to pull out because they were coming at speed at each other and collision was inevitable. I think Newcomb could have stopped that from happening, but I think he enjoyed the fact that he hit him. Not that in malicious intent or anything like that. I think it was meant to be
I think there was malicious intent.
I think it was meant to be an impact with purpose.
So I watched this as many times as I've watched the Zapruder film. Newcomb's eyes leave the ball, so they go to House. That's one. That's a strike right away because you're not, according to the AFL Tribunal, once your eyes leave the ball, then you're up to the no good. And then you actually see he tucks himself in to prepare for contact. And it's like, well, you're getting second to the ball, so you're actually now choosing to make contact. So that's a bump, regardless of the way, it's not a traditional bump or whatever, but you're running front on into him, which is probably the most dangerous way. Howe's got only eyes for the ball.
He had no ability to protect himself or anything, no.
But Howe was constantly focused on the ball, and you can see Newcomb, maybe he was intending to get to the ball, but he's realised, hang on, I'm not going to get to it, and he's made a decision, well, if I'm not going to get to it, I'm going to take out the opponent. Now, maybe he didn't anticipate he was going to take him out so extravagantly, but he made a choice to take him out. And that the AFL has just ticked it off as fucking make me sick. It's like the Logan Morris pushes Darcy Moore into a contest. Darcy Moore gets his head split open, gets vertigo, misses a week, no case to answer. Rory Lobb goes for a punch, punches Mason Cox in the face, splits him open, he goes off, no case to fucking answer. Even the Schultz one against Fremantle, where, again, it's in the AFL parlance, it doesn't matter if it's a football act. If you take someone out, then it becomes a tribunal case. No case to answer. So what is it? Just pick off a Collingwood player and it's fine?
Well, it seems to be the case. Yeah, what also irked me a little bit about it too is obviously Howe ended up off to hospital and stuff and he was ruled out naturally. I think once you're knocked out, that's you're pretty much gone anyway. But Newcomb looked pretty rat shit. And when he was sitting there on the bench, his fucking head was red like a beetroot from the impact. And apparently the doctor goes, "Oh, that's all right. Fine. Bit of copper tone on that, and you'll be fine, mate."
Well, it's like Tilthorpe got some pretty good head contact.
Oh, I mean that was ridiculous today, and no assessment. I mean, I thought, and I did ask the question to the boys that night with the thing about how's it work now? Is it? And I don't know the answer still. Is it our doctors that make the decision, or the club doctors?
Isn't there an independent doctor now?
Well, that's what I thought. I thought the AFL was appointing an independent adjudicator to look at the footage and make the assessments. Because like that Thilswell one today, he got fucking hit twice in the head. The first hit dazed him, and then someone came in and gave him a hit for good measure. He's dropped to the ground. He's clearly in distress. Doesn't even get a fucking concussion test.
Yeah.
How does it work?
I don't know. It's absurd. I mean, you go back to the West Coast Collingwood game where there was a West Coast player who was actually hit in the head and they were trying to get him off to test him and he wouldn't come off. And the doctor was sort of chasing him around and the commentary was saying at the time, well, The doctor needs to be given license to say, no, just stop the fucking game. This guy's coming off for a test. This is typical of the AFL, who just half-ass every fucking... Like the goal line technology. It's like, well, we'll be seen to be doing something, but we're just not going to do it very well. We're only $1 billion industry. Why put any money or diligence into this?
When you say that, the first thing I'm thinking of is obviously the Thilthorpe incident, where you've got nothing to worry about. You don't have to go through a concussion test, and yet they'll stop the whole fucking game for a bloke to come off with cramp.
Yeah. Well, I guess if you're in the wave, then it's like, hey... Alright, so you go back to like, what was it, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks. We
do the wavy lines?
No. That would cost too much editing. Beat Hawthorn by 51 points. Looks like, oh, well, how good's this? We're finally starting to produce some consistency and beating one of our bogey teams. You play Melbourne the following week on the King's birthday. We just got over the line by 1 point. We go to a bye and we come back, and this is what form we've actually had. So we've had really unconvincing wins over Richmond and St Kilda and West Coast. It was probably a little bit more convincing against Carlton, but they are really, really rat shit at that time. And then we've lost the Gold Coast, where it didn't get a goal in the first half. Lost the Fremantle, where we dominate, or we were winning by 21 points, got 50 entries in the third quarter, converted for 1 goal. Lost to Brisbane, who just smashed us up with insane pressure rating, and then now have been smashed by Hawthorn. So where the fuck does this club stand?
Oh, look, at the moment, it's a rabble. It's the system is entirely broken in the last in the last 6 quarters, I would say, probably fair. But it's been fractured for the last 6 weeks. And I think once it couldn't hold itself any longer, it's absolutely collapsed. You know, last week was concerning, the drop-off in the second half. That Thursday night was an absolute... That was a capitulation. Look, we allegedly, I believe, I've heard, our training loads finished, or the training for the training loads finished 2 weeks ago. Was there a fucking knock-on effect from that? Of absolute mediocreness?
We've brought this up a couple of years ago, and we've talked about it. I don't get that training loads thing.
Whether we get it or not, they're still doing it. So, clearly...
Why is it like we do it, and there's a noticeable drop in form and productivity? Now, presumably other clubs are doing it, but you don't see that happen.
But it's 3 seasons now where we've done this at the same time. We've fallen off a cliff. What's the outcome? We want the season to be a challenge.
But I look at someone like Pendlebury. Why would his training need to be increased? What, he doesn't have that endurance as a base? Well, it seems a weird thing. So then the guys like, let's say, Lipinski and, I don't know, who's another 20-something player there, whoever the fuck, they've been around long enough that really, should they need that boost? And then the young guy, surely by doing it, you're actually running him into the ground to the point that they can't recover. You look at Ned Long. Ned Long has deteriorated horribly. And I understand it's his first full AFL season, but surely that training load thing can't actually be helping.
Dane Swan on his podcast this week had an interesting thing. I'm not going to paraphrase it exactly because I can't remember it.
You should paraphrase it exactly.
But he just was along the lines of, I don't think there's too many players that agree or understand with this training load stuff. It generally comes down to a bunch of guys sitting in front of a computer looking at numbers. And I think that's what the sports science stuff comes in and says, that if you do this and you increase the loads, and the end result is these numbers down the track. McStay probably has the best numbers though down the track of how low can you go with the training loads.
But do that.
He said he's aiming for 400th in the league.
I'd love to talk to someone at the club and just ask him, what's the benefit of this? Because I've heard explanation from Lehman saying, they get like a boost.
Darren Lehman.
Yeah,
Darren. The cricketer.
Yeah. That's a good one. So I've heard, they come out of it with a boost. And it's like, well, do they come out of a boost because you're training him into the ground for several weeks?
Well, they go to the local supermarket and they get some boost juice.
And then they just these are really, really bad. Then they just rebound back to normal.
Do you know what was really, really bad? Thursday night.
Yeah, but they just rebound back to normal. Is that the boost, or do they actually get a significant boost? Because I don't see it. And the thing with finals is, there's a bit of a myth, I reckon, with finals too. It's like, finals football is a totally different football. Why then, in like 3/4 of the game, is just absolutely shit?
Well, the other thing is too, is like you increase your training load, you come out as this amazingly fit machine, but then you have a week off before the first final, you win the first final, you have another week off. it's interrupted that final structure now. That where would that benefit be coming from? It's not a week-to-week thing now.
I don't know. Well, this is like the amount of really close finals that are hard fought go down to the line. I mean, I know in 2023 all our finals are like that, but like all our games were like that, pretty much. So you get a lot of finals that are just one-sided. So where does it help? I don't really get it, and it's like we go back to 2023. How many close games did we have where we had to come back from behind? Surely that's training enough. Sure, that's match conditioning enough.
I think the other thing that you factor into this year too is if you've made this conscious decision to keep disheveling the side by managing players. So when you're doing that and you're getting no consistency in there, isn't this load thing where you're sacrificing a number of games, you're shooting yourself in both feet.
Yeah, I would have thought so. And then also you're opening the players to greater vulnerability for injury because there's going to be more wear on soft tissue and stuff like that.
Oh, what do we know? Maybe we can get a mathematician in who can look at some numbers.
That'd be good. Houston.
Yep.
Why are we so hard on him?
I don't know.
I mean, all the regular media is now highlighting how stunningly mediocre he's been this year. I thought he got a bit more of the ball Thursday night, but geez, some of his decision making is really fucking questionable.
I really love those 2 pinpoint passes he provided though, that went straight to Hawthorn. Yeah. This is a guy who's an elite kick of the competition.
Yeah. But it's what I'm saying. You can be an elite kick, but a shit decision maker. So you make a poor decision. It doesn't matter how good a kick you are. You're not going to get it there.
Yeah, but I think if you miss kick and you fuck that up, then it doesn't really matter whether your intention was good. Like if he's kicking to a bloke that's standing another 10 metres off and the ball ends up in your opposition who then turns around and
that's terrible, yeah.
That it's a poor execution of skill.
Yeah, I mean, he did one on Thursday night where he went about 40 metres across the ground at half back and put about 9 days of hang time on it. They had time to fucking start a campfire, roast some marshmallows, Hawthorn, and then just get ready for the ball to come down and bloody steal it from us.
I heard it was up there that long that NASA spotted it.
He doesn't know where to run. He doesn't know the running patterns yet.
Fuck, that might come in handy, you think?
Yeah.
Do you think instead of like increasing his loads, they might just draw some lines on the ground, he can follow them?
Lloyd Meek absolutely slaughtered Darcy Cameron in the ruck. Lloyd Meek kicked 3 goals as a ruckman.
He's not so meek anymore, is he?
When does the myth of Darcy Cameron actually get punctured? He's a great around the ground, so I don't want someone to go, he's excellent around the ground, he leads for contested marks, but wouldn't you rather have a ruckman who's giving your midfield, and our midfield is a huge issue, first use of the ball?
Yeah, well, the funny thing on top of that is there's a rumour going around at the moment that some of the internal strife going on about player wages or whatever it is isn't because, or some of it is because Darcy Cameron's not getting a contract extension at the money level that they believe he should be getting. On last year's performance, you'd probably agree, but this is this year, and the performances haven't been that great. So where's the angst coming from in that?
Look, as far as that rumour goes, I would seriously say Collingwood players, because I know you watch this, get the fuck over it, win a flag, and then you know what? You got a lot more leverage to say, we want more money. Not, hey, let's bomb out. Because right now, the way I'm looking at it, and we spoke about this a little bit before, if I was Craig McRae, we know he's not going to do this, I'd be going, well, all these guys we're going to offer contracts this year, let's just get them the fuck out and bring in players who are going to produce more.
He said, I want players, not contracts.
But it's ludicrous that, all right, so you're going to play poorly and then lower your marquee so you're not demanding the money that you want. Because surely then Collingwood, let's say Justin Leppage or Craig Kelly, whoever's in charge of the contracts. I think when Eddie Maguire was in charge, it was some 12-year-old. But whoever's in charge of the contracts would just be saying, well, your form was shit in the second half of the year, so why should we pay you more?
You're not doing yourself any favours, surely.
No.
I mean, the thing is, what gets me with this is like...
Spook.
What's that, cockhead?
Don't call me Shirley.
The one...
Can you narrow it down a little bit?
The one we call... he's a John Ralph.
Oh, John Ralph?
Well, he started all this shit with the...
Well, he has Collingwood players going everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, because he's a muckraker, king of. And then Sam Edmonds jumped on the ship, and I think we read an article today about the internal woes and all that sort of thing. And the thing I don't get is none of this, the way that the contracts are handled and money's handled, should come to a surprise to any fucking player. This is the way the system has worked for decades. Your player managers should know that. They're out there to get you the best deals, and they'll shop you around and they'll bring in the counter offers from someone else, all that sort of thing. It's just the way it's all done. Why are we now suddenly offended by that we can't play football anymore?
Well, the other thing too is you got like by design, you have a senior list that's packed in all these older players. So naturally, that's also going to inflate the cap. So you should all actually know that you're all taking off each other by existing, rather than usually you'd have this breakdown of the age profile. You'd have some young guys who would be on the lowest wage, and it'd be tiered evenly throughout the playing list. But our playing list is so heavily weighted in terms of the older players. They must all be putting such a strain on that salary cap, and putting off the balance of the way it should actually be distributed. I still don't even know who the fuck would be making money outside of Nick Dacos and Will Hoskin Elliott
and Dan Houston.
Dan Houston making money. What do they do about the midfield? So it's really spluttering. It's looked really one-paced. And
I think that's the key term, is the one pace. There needs to be an injection of speed into it.
So again, I've been in long time for 2 years. I wanted them to draft him 2 years ago, because I've got to keep saying this because someone in the comments go, "Oh, he turned on deadline." But he's hit a wall. He shouldn't be in that side anymore. And that's tough, but that's fucking AFL football.
You saw he was tactical sub at the start of the game on Thursday night. Come half-time, he had one possession, one handball. This is a guy that I don't think they planned on him coming in, and with the output of that from a half, is he shouldn't have been there at all.
No.
But I reckon it was almost... It wasn't an intelligent use of the sub again this week, because I reckon clearly the plan was the reverse of what they did last week with De Goey and Hill, was that they said, well, all right, well, Mitchell, you do the inside work for 2.5 quarters or whatever it is, and then we'll sub Ned in and you can have a rest. And that would be as deep as that tactic got until you can ran through Howe.
I think also the use of the sub, it's fucking insane to have this arbitrary use of it where it's like, well, no matter what, this is the change we're going to make. Now, I understand if you're 10 goals up, it's like, yeah, well, let's take them off, or whatever. 5 goals up, you can control the game. But if you're in a situation where it's like, well, taking this guy off might actually fucking hurt our productivity and whether we could keep our dominance or whatever, that's just really poor strategic use of it. You want someone coming on who's actually going to have an immediate impact. And the guy you're subbing off should be a guy who's not having much impact. Not, hey, Jordan De Goey's had 20 kicks and 4 handballs and 2 goals, and let's get him off now, and there's 2 points of difference, and he goes off, and then suddenly we're getting smashed around it. And I know that's not what happened, I was saying, but that's the way they're using it. It's like, no matter what's happening in the game, they're going to make a sub, which can be totally contrary to what we need at that time.
Well, it comes down to, you've just found an extension to the management program. So now you can manage players during the game.
But the management thing too, because I was looking at this, because I wrote something, I was telling you about this. And so you've managed, this year, you've managed Pendlebury, Sidebottom, Howe. Was more managed once. I know Elliott was managed, Membry was managed. Lipinski was fucking managed after being out 2 weeks of concussion. But that's about 8 players I've already named, and there's more. That is actually duplicating what you would have in a year where you're constantly having all these niggling injuries to player coming in and out, and you're not allowing the team to settle because you're constantly changing the personnel and you're changing roles. So you're losing that synergy, which is no surprise that it's fucking disintegrated over 8 weeks when you can't have a steady team. I mean, generally, you go back to, say, something like 2011, where we had a really dominant season. The only guy they really managed was Dane Swan, because he had an injury, and I think they sent him to Europe to get looked at. Otherwise, the team was pretty constant. It was on the fringes that, players were coming in and out. It wasn't at the top level. This is ridiculous that they have this arbitrary use of the sub and the management. It's like, well, this is what we're doing regardless. You throw Howe into that game against Geelong, which we lost by a kick, we probably would have won that relatively comfortably. But we managed him. It's a ridiculous thing. Wouldn't it be better also to bank those wins? Like, let's put in the best fucking players we can, best teams we can, and then 6 weeks from the thing when if you're sitting 17 wins or whatever, now we'll just try and rest some of the players. I understand we've got an older list profile, but then on the flip side of that, I look at it from the point of view, if your older list profile is so prejudicing your selection integrity because you have to manage all these 30-something guys, then it's not fucking working.
Yeah.
I can understand 1 or 2, but not like 7 or 8.
I think, was it after the Freo game that Fly started banging on the post-press conference about we're qualified now? Or we are...
Oh, no, it was after one of the wins. It was before that, yeah.
Yeah. But I think a lot of the rot started from that point onwards. Because I reckon it's seeped in mentally that we don't have to work as hard now because we're qualified. Whatever it is, there was a shift in the mindset of some of the players, and our form and our ability to execute simple things as well and truly plummeted. And I don't think it's necessarily all because of that, but I think it's a factor that
I think it is a factor.
The message started permeating around the club that we've qualified. There's no need to work. At 100% now, we can drop off to 80 and cruise to the finals.
I know somebody's going to be out there going and typing in the comments right now, those guys are professionals. Do you really think they would drop off?
I don't even think it when I say it.
In exactly that voice. But like in 2023, when we dropped off, and Fly was actually asked, well, has some of the drive gone because you've got locked position topped up? Or locked up. And he just said, yeah, it is harder to keep them motivated. And it's like, well, he's actually admitted it 2 years earlier that motivation does drop off depending on where you are. Which I really fucking hate too, because you go back to 211, which was pretty much dominant for the whole year. We dropped away in the last 4 weeks, but we're still getting some good results. But it was more so because just our bloody play management back then, we really overdid it because Maltas wanted to go out on top and just fucking ran everyone into the ground, and you had all the shit going on behind the scenes, which was destabilising the whole playing list, which we know for a fact. And you'd think you'd teach your team to go, fucking enjoy winning, enjoy breaking teams, and keep doing it week in, week out, week in. There's no break. You don't get the fucking 4 or 5 weeks from the end of the season and go, well, let's drop off now and relax, because you can't just start the engine back up come the finals.
No, it looks like it's out of fuel and spluttering at the moment.
So what changes would you make? So
I'd get rid of all of them.
So Long for me would definitely go. He's just hit a wall. You can
Done
see,
for the season?
Done for the season. And I know that's hard because he's been in there for the season. Go back to the start in the first half of the year where he was actually being instrumental in winning contested the ball and bullocking and tackling and all that defensive pressure. Fantastic. You're not getting any of that really now. So you're not going to get it because he's not suddenly going to discover endurance that he hasn't had the opportunity to cultivate over 6-7 seasons. So he would be out. Mitchell, I don't think they really have any choice but to play him. I don't know how good he's going. He killed a few of the shit teams like Richmond and that's not a shot at him. That's like the form of most of the players. The McStay memory thing doesn't work. I think they should both go, or one of them should go into defence. I actually think they really need Cox to come and take over the ruck, and maybe they arrange it that Cox starts into the square and Cameron starts forward, and then they rotate around the ground or something like that. The goalie, are we getting enough out of him? Does he move forward to be more of a forward rather than midfielder? But Nick needs help in the middle, so I don't know how you handle that.
No, I persist with the middle. The other one I was thinking of was getting Crisp out of the wing and back into the middle. He's been
terrible
on the wing.
Well, he's definitely one. Him and Perryman. Perryman's the other one because they got him down there to play midfield, and then just the emergence of Long sort of pushed him back out. Well, the circumstances have changed, so go back.
I mean, do you think Houston's got the tank to play in the midfield?
I don't know. I mean, he's been around for long enough. You think he could run on the wing or something?
Well, he doesn't worry about the lines there, does he? He's just got to win the ball and fucking kick it towards the forwards.
Well, that's the other thing. I think they seriously may have to look at Nick going back to half back because Josh has been not great since the bye either. First half of the year he was really good coming out of the defence. You're not getting that now. So you've lost a lot of that. Frampton has to stay. Moore obviously has to stay. We don't know if Howe will even be back this year now because of...
No, he's supposed to be back. He gets the week off for the concussion thing. There's no other damage.
All right, so I'll believe that when I say...
I'm assuming he's coming back from Melbourne.
I'll believe that when I say...
To get cleaned up again.
Yeah, I'll believe that when I say it at Collingwood, so he might be fine. I'm very leery of what clubs put out as injury reports. I still remember in 2019 where toward the end of the year, during the go, he was out for 10 days with a hamstring twinge, and he came back 10 weeks later. So we know that they tend to fudge the injury reports. Anyway, we'll see.
If they do things by the book, days become weeks.
Even someone like Hoskin Elliott, I would look at playing it more as a permanent forward.
I'd look at playing him in the VFL.
The other guy trying the middle too is Ed Allen.
Yeah, I'd definitely bring him in. I think you need a big presence in there. But I think, as I said last week, you bring him in, but you got to tell him to be a lot more inside and start using that bulb.
But they've got to use him inside because they keep playing him on the wing. He's got to start in the middle. So,
if you're going to shuffle the deck chairs around on the Titanic now, at least you might as well do it with some positive intent.
I am really bemused by the fact that when Ed Allen has looked good in the VFL, it's been in the centre square. And last year against Melbourne, I know Melbourne was shot by the end of the year, but Ed Allen had a really good game in the centre square. And we have not seen him there since. So it's a really strange, I don't know if they're just sort of saying, well, build your tank, build your connectivity outside.
Maybe we're foxing.
I don't... Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this could be the greatest deceptive move in the history of sport.
Yeah.
This could be like Hulk Hogan, come the first final, we're going to get up and just do that thing with the fists. And then they're going to come up and slap us and we're going to look wild.
You know he died, don't you?
Yeah,
probably not the best analogy to use.
They're probably going to die too.
What do you think? Do you think they have any hope of galvanising their efforts?
Hope is all we have. I said last week, the week before, I can't remember what it is. We don't want to be in a position where we've blown that 2.5 game lead, top of the ladder. You've got everything running in your favour for hosting a home final to get to a place where we're now hoping that the results are going to fall our way to keep us in the top 4. We should be master of that fucking domain, and yet here we are. Everybody's looking at the results this week going, well, this one works for us, this one's not going to work for us. We're now becoming exactly what we don't want to happen. And I really hope that mindset's not permeating into the club either. I thought last week, for the fucking 2 weeks now, I thought that these were statement games, that they were going to come back out and go, well, we've arrived. Well, they didn't arrive. They pretty much missed the fucking bus, and they're somewhere over in Perth right now. Is that what you think?
Yeah. No, you know what I actually think when you're saying that? 2.5 games. So we're actually 3 games clear of the next position. So 3 games. So the half comes from Brisbane had the draw there.
Yeah.
So that was second. So, I think that's actually an important delineation that we're 3 games clear.
Point-wise, 2.5.
But yeah. From Brisbane. From the rest, they were 3 games clear. So...
Yeah, I thought, we should come out and beat Brisbane. I was confident of that. They had a few outs, but Jesus Christ. Did they play the game of their lives? Hawthorn, always worried about playing them because they give me the shits. Fucking destroyed us. It doesn't look good at the moment. So hope is all you have left. Can they dig themselves out of this? I'm not convinced.
Can we just go back to Darcy Moore?
Is it his fault?
Can we go back to the game? Yeah, it is. That opening goal Hawthorn got where he tried to finesse that little tap and he's actually just tapped it to Nick Watson. And then how many times he got to the ball and just double-fisted it. It's like, take a fucking mark, Darcy. We'd rather you just, fuck up, but at least try and make something happen. It's like, you go back to the 2010 grand final draw where, the last few minutes, the ball came down and Nick Maxwell said, usually 99 times out of 100, I'll punch that toward the boundary. He goes, this time I thought I have to make something happen or we're going to lose. And he took a mark. This is you, Darcy. Fucking take a mark and make something happen. You're meant to be a really good mark. I don't know if he's still impacted by the vertigo from fucking the Brisbane game, the first one. He could be because he's played like he's, punch drunk. Although, to be fair to him, he's, they've been lacking either Frampton or Howe for a lot of the second half of the year. But, yeah, it's not encouraging.
I've got to give credit to Frampton for making Dean look good.
Look, I think with some of those, Frampton was just hung out to dry because there's so little defensive pressure.
That was purely a gag. Was it a gag? I think it was a gag.
It was pretty mean.
The
Big
thing
balls.
is, I don't really think you can really isolate a particular area of the ground.
That's
they
all
were
fucked.
universally shit across all of it. Even the fucking boot starter got it fucking wrong.
Well, how many times do they slip over?
What are they on, ball bearings out there?
Fucking little roller skates.
It's like watching an old school cartoon where they're trying to run on the spot.
So Sunday Footy Show, thanks Sunday Footy Show. They had a piece on how much Collingwood's fallen from grace.
How much Collingwood shit me.
Yeah, And they had some stats, which you can go look up their show, but I'll just read them out. So from rounds 0 to 17, and then from rounds 18 to 22. So points for, we were 5th, and it's now fallen to 12th. Points against, we were 1st, in terms of like keeping teams down. We're now 10th. Scores from turnover, we were 1st. We're now 11th. Goals per inside 50, we were 2nd. We're now 15th. It's amazing that bombing tactic doesn't work. I'm shocked. I'm shocked.
They call this the Houston McStay effect.
Yeah, goals per inside 50 against. So, 1st, and we've dropped to 14th. It just shows how fucked up the last 5 weeks have been. And I don't know, is it possible? Is it a thing where if they just fix one thing, then other things will start falling into place, or is it just so fucked up that they could fix one thing and other places?
Again, it's hard. How do you reverse that with just a couple of moves? I mean, you can bring McCreary and Hill in, and I think that instant injection of pace. Remember him,
Benny Hill?
Yeah, I remember him. That would give you some sense of improvement. You get Howe back out there, and defence solidifies. Then things are looking better. The problem is now, you've only got a couple of fucking weeks before finals start to get this right. And we're going to be howless again this week over in Radelaide. It just seems, it's just like it's too late in the season to put right. Because at the moment, my philosophy with this stuff is, at this stage of the season, your side should be settled. We don't know what that side now looks like. We're hoping that some panic changes is going to turn the form around. Is it that obvious? I mean, if it was that obvious, you're just going to make the right moves and everything is just going to come good. But what are those right moves? We're speculating. Everyone's speculating.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit disappointed that stuff like the Ned Long, he should have been out of that side about 4 weeks ago. He's really struggled for a little while now. So that should have been the move they just, Fly should have said.
I guess the other issue, I mean, we've talked about this, is all right, you put Ned Long down. Down. You put him down, you put a blanket over him.
Well, that's pretty radical.
And some guys come out with not a rifle.
But if they did that, do you trust anyone that Collingwood to shoot straight?
Oh, we'd shoot ourselves in the foot.
You go on.
There'd be a lot of blokes hopping off. Neve derailed my train of thought. But who'd come in?
Oh, well, I think Ed Allen's one, but I think the other thing, it's not so much about like you're replacing Long in the midfield with someone from the VFL.
But he's performing a particular role, so you need someone of equal or better execution of that role to come in.
Well, that's Crisp or Perryman.
Oh, so you're shuffling deck chairs around.
Oh, you're going to have to.
Yeah.
Or Perryman was brought in there for to play a midfield role, but Long pushed him back out to the half back line, so I don't think he's been that great. He hasn't been bad or anything, but I think he's just sort of been more solid. I think there's nothing in the VFL that's really going to give him a sudden, like the nitro injection like in Mad Max. But they need to change that midfield up. Crisp has always been a much better midfielder than he's been a better anything else. So that's one they can. He's a big body, and Perryman's another. You got to bring them up. There's about 19 halfback flankers at Collingwood who can take, and even if that's Nick going back for spells at halfback, and you got Josh, you got Maynard, you got Quaynor, that's already 4 guys, and then you got Houston, that's 5. So you've actually got that position covered pretty well. It's the middle that's really fucked up, and what you've got is 2-1 pace between Pendlebury and all those sort of guys. But then another thing is you bring Sidebottom back in the fucking middle. These are the things that don't really require major changes, and then you change around, around the fringes. But then even stuff like, I'm going to ask you another question, but like even bringing Hill into the middle for spells just to have some pace in there, and obviously McCreary when he's back. But do you think Hill will come back?
I hope so. The gastro thing I'm not buying this week, and nothing's been mentioned since. Fly usually comes out on a Tuesday, I think, doesn't he? And has his presser to say, well, he should be fine to play, so I guess we find out then. But I have this niggling feeling that he's almost played his last game for us, and that's on the strength that I think he'll be seeking a trade at the end of the year because the family shot through back to WA. How could it possibly be sustainable that his wife and kids live in WA and he stays here for another 4 years as a footballer? It doesn't make sense.
No, but I mean, he did sign the 4-year extension like mid-year just before he started not playing. So it's a really bizarre thing. We don't know, you know, we don't know what he's thinking or anything. You don't know the circumstances, whatever's happened behind the scenes. You don't know how he's coping with it.
No, I don't. But you can see what the scenario currently is,
But
and the family is back in WA.
It does seem it has been devastating enough to keep him out for a long term, and that the gastro was, well, this is the story I'm going to tell you because otherwise you can get frustrated. And I totally understand. His family, his children, totally priority over anything else. Yeah. So not.
As I say, it's a very difficult one. I don't think we can fix.
Yeah. So I don't have. I should say, obviously I do have a bit of problems on Collingwood to win, but I understand if that's his motivation, then okay, that's fine. But if that is his motivation, then Collingwood need to reshuffle and just think, well, how do we handle this now? Because you can't rely on him to come back, and it feels like they're relying on him to come back. So
it certainly feels like that's the case, and there doesn't seem to be any degree of certainty of that.
Well, you talked about McRae being how's the way you put it?
I wonder whether he's a one-sided coach. Was that the term I used? Or one-way coach? Now, what I meant by that is that he's come to us, he's not had to rebuild. He clearly doesn't think we ever need to rebuild or under the current guise of rebuilding. And he's constructed a team, I think, that worked beautifully. But now there's it starting to fall apart. What I've noticed in his last two press conferences, he completely looks lost with what to do in terms to arrest this. And where I mean that he's a one-way coach is he's never experienced this other side of things and doesn't have the experience. And I think he's very, very good at building a side and getting it to execute what he wants. Clearly, he's got the runs on the board there. But now that the challenge is becoming great, he's looking like he's wanting a little bit. And he doesn't have that grounding to know what to do. You'd look at someone like with Malthouse's experience. I think he would have probably had something in place already. We just seem to keep thinking that throwing something at the wall and hoping it sticks seems to be the best outcome at the moment.
Well, you look at Big Malthouse. So Wooden Spoon is in 99. I don't think the list was as bad as everyone makes out going into the next few years. They had a really good core. They had a lot of shit around it, but they had the two rockers, Paul Williams, Nathan Buckley, Paul Licuria, Scott Burns, Presty, not Clement came 2 years later.
After he came.
But then they had pick 1, pick 3 in the draft. They had pick 1 in the other draft. What's the other one?
That one.
The preseason draft where they got O'Brien. So they had a really good nucleus to build on. But after they lost the 0-2 and 0-3 grand finals and they were smashed in 0-3, he went to the admin and said, we're not going to win a flag with this list. We have to start again. So then they started turning over players and they really focused on the draft. They brought in, Chris Egan was ultimately a bust, but they brought in Pendles and Daisy and Beams and Sidebottom and Reed and Brown and all this sort of stuff. So, he actually went there and he cultivated this youth to come up. And they probably jumped up a lot quicker than any of us thought they would. Which makes, when you got a young list like that, I'd understand that 3 years later you should dismantle it and send it everywhere else. But
that's another story.
Yeah, for another time. But McRae has just really focused on plug and play. And I don't know if that's purely his mandate or whether there's behind the scenes where they're going, this is what we want to do. We want to just keep bringing players in and stay up there. But I can't remember if I said it last week, but the problem when you bring in players in is they're known commodities. So we know what we're going to get from Houston. We haven't gotten it. We know what we're going to get from Perryman and Membry and all that sort of stuff. When you bring in draftees, they got fucking the potential of upside. And they, you go back to 06, 07, Dale Thomas really just energised that side with his flair and his pace and all that. We've been really dour in the early 2000s. And then we became sort of a lot more skilled and a lot more X-factor and all that sort of stuff. But you don't have that excitement coming from the list because there's no reliance on that youth. Ned Long was even a surprise to them. They only gave him a contract about 4 months ago or something. So they even were anticipating that. So I'm really concerned that, McRae, he's actually, and the list manager at Collingwood, they've built this list, and if it's not performing to the expectation that they anticipated, it's unravelling on them right now, and there's no way to arrest it because there's nothing being given to the cultivation of the next gen.
No, I think that's an alarming thing. And look, at the end of the year, no matter what happens, you feel that a mini rebuild should be taking place. But what were you saying that out of the 8 blokes over the age of 40, we've extended 6 of them?
Well, I don't know if they've extended them all because some of them have been running around for a little bit more money. But on that footy furthest, they said there was 8 guys over 30 and 6 of them were, according to them, so they could be bullshitting or got it wrong, but 6 of them were going to be re-signed. And the other 2, which were Tom Mitchell and Mason Cox, they would wait until the end of the year to reassess whether they're going to be kept on or not. So I would have thought there's a couple of those guys you should have forced out. Like how Pendlebury and Sidebottom would be the definite re-signs, and then obviously Crisp and Moore. And then the other 3, which would have been Hoskin Elliott, would have been a definite out. Mason Cox, if you got another ruck option, but you don't, so you probably have to keep him if he wants to stay playing VFL football the way you're using him. And Tom Mitchell, if he was fit enough to play, I'd be signing him up. Because it sort of seems a little bit hypocritical to say, Tom, you passed it at 31, but we've got a 37 and 35-year-old here, and we're going to keep giving them contracts. So if he was fit enough to play. But we're linked to Jack Silvani, so...
I'm going for youth then. Was he 29?
28, and he's got not a great injury profile over the course of
his... that'd be my concern with Silvani. Look, he's a good defender, but...
To be fair to him, Michael Voss is using him a lot in the ruck role, which could have been good for his body. And he was good for Carlton this year. I don't know how good, because I don't watch Carlton games like you do. You know, I don't go to Carlton functions and win Carlton raffles and Carlton jumpers like you do.
Free booze and food. Yeah, I guess the only thing that sort of tips in that favour with Silvani is I think Carlton, because they're obviously good at giving away first rounders like us, don't have one. If they get really good compensation for Silvani, they'll happily let them go because they have to rebuild yet again.
Yeah, my alarm with...
Even though I dreamt they won the flag, can you believe it?
No. My alarm with Silvani is he must have done the tour of the facilities because that's what they do. They bring the players in to, have a look at, like, here's what we have. And that coincides with us going, shit, so how much of that Carlton stench has he brought across already? I've said this to you before. I said this to you yesterday. Okay, Silvani might be elite. Sorry, he might be able to become elite because he had a really good year as a defender despite the injuries. I would say, fuck it. The guy we should go after is Noah Bolter from Richmond. He's 25. He's obviously a gun. He's had a lot of problems off field. Richmond, are they going to be back in finals contention in 3 years? Or fuck the way they're going, they probably will be. But here's the guy I would actually really sort of look at. Like, can we pry him loose? A guy who can be a gun defender and will have a lot of years ahead of him. I'm tired of fucking targeting the Moneyball options and expecting them to, offer these patchwork fixes to keep us in contention. Collingwood obviously prize, and we've spoken about this, they really prize the Geelong model. But Geelong, they've been doing this and they've been in finals. So up to 2-11, 2-7, 2-9, 2-11, they won those flags based on their drafting that they did in the late 90s, early 2000s. So that wasn't when they were recycling. They started recycling in the teens and they didn't get to a grand final until 22. They didn't win the grand final until 2022. They got to 2021 against Richmond in Queensland or whatever the fuck it was. And you can't really count those seasons because they were so COVID affected. Who the fuck knows, how much parity those seasons had. So the model might have kept it competitive. I don't think it ever made them look like they were going to fucking win a flag. The teams that won the flags, the Richmond won 3, Hawthorn won 4, Geelong won 3. They all went to the draft. They built from the ground up, and then they topped up to fix whatever deficiencies there were.
And Geelong's one's greatly flattered by the likes of having fucking A-graders in there like Smith and Cameron. You take those two out of the side, what's left?
But that's the thing with Geelong, is they didn't look like they were a serious premiership threat until they got Cameron, until they got a genuine A-grader on top of Dangerfield. And Geelong is also flattered too, because they fucking play 9 games in that shithole.
Against all the bottom sides.
Yeah, so... It's just, it's a false economy to sort of think, oh, well, hey, that's a great model. I want to get the fucking flags and win it. I don't feel like there's going to be sustained growth, and the big panic thing right now is McRae's composure as we're losing. I always thought, like, you can't judge a coach by when they're winning because everything's fucking roses. Judge them by when they're losing and how they're handling it. So you look at, like, someone like Malthouse, who was just always in control of everything. And he'd get prickly and all that, but, you know, he looked like he'd never going to be out there doing press conferences anyway. But Craig, on Thursday night, he really looked at a loss. He really looked, I don't know how to fucking fix this. And then last week, he looked quite angry. I mean, did you see actually last week? He apologised to the fan base for the effort. And it's like, if that's what you're getting, and I'm sure he would have ripped into him at some point and said, what's going on? That's pretty alarming because there's no effort or anything that's tried to arrest what's going on field.
Yeah, I really struggle with this whole apologise to the fan base thing as well, just quietly. You know, you just go out and win the next fucking game. That usually fixes it.
Yeah, well, that would be good, but it's more than concerning. I mean, fucking 6 weeks ago they looked like, we'll just get to the finals. We're so much in front of everyone, and now it's just so much falling apart.
I mean, there was a scenario, I don't know, I had looked at the ladder permutations after this week's finished, but there were scenarios going into this weekend where we could miss the 8. That's how fucking tight it is there. Yeah. Why would you fuck with form at this point?
Well, I actually think, like, if they get to the finals, for them to be any chance to win it, I think they'd actually be better off finishing 5th.
Well, I don't think you need to worry too much about that. That's probably the likelihood.
Yeah, just because if let's say they hold on to a top 4 spot, so look, we don't know what the form is for the next 2 weeks, but if they hold on to the top 4 spot and their form's really questionable, then they get a week off, and then we expect them to come back and hit the ground running, which they probably won't do, but let's say they fluke that, then they get another week off. I just don't expect them to be able to restart the engine like 3 different times, whereas if they finish 5th and they had to play 4 finals to win the flag, at least they get some continuity, they get some fitness into players who've been missing. You know, like Jeremy Howe, when he comes back, he'd have played 1 game in 8 weeks. If he comes back against Melbourne. And then you get guys like the Gully and that, they'd be better off for more of the run. So you go back to sort of how shit we're looking. Go back to Bulldogs in 2016 because they looked shot by the end of the year. And they got some players back and then they just hit the ground running. And they were the form side of the finals. I won't say anything about the umpiring helping them.
Unfortunately, though, it's just not a scenario that often bears fruit. I think, Dogs did it, Adelaide's done it. There's not too many other sides that I think have won a flag from out of the 4.
I think Ted Lasso's soccer team made Premier League or something.
Oh, well, then we're home then.
Because they were foxing. Some comments. The Finn, 83. Hey, Sly and Swoop. You know how upset he got when you called him Swoop?
I shrunk.
He turned green. Agree with the analysis for the Lions games. Hopefully you agree with this one too. One thing I will say, Ray Houston, he has too much talent not to, at some stage, have a breakout game.
Was that like he gets acne?
Fuck, that joke is as bad as fucking Houston's game. Writing this pre-Hawthorn game, agree this is the put up or shut up game. We should definitely shut up. I love the fact that the media headlines have turned on Collingwood. Get us off the front page. Fly needs to stick to the headlines of the Collywobbles back around the club. They need to be fired up. What about The Last Airbender? What a movie. You're talking about the M. Night Shyamalan movie?
I think so. There was an anime thing of Last Airbender, but Shyamalan made a live action one which was meant to be pretty bad. Yeah. I don't like anime, so I couldn't give a shit what he does.
But Collingwood season could be an M. Night Shyamalan.
Could be anime, because it's giving me the shits as well.
It could be a twist at the end.
Is there? What, they win the flag?
No, they're all dead.
Oh.
We're all in purgatory.
Well, that's my Collingwood existence anyway.
Russell Blackwell, what can you say? Played catch-up all game. No last quarter comeback last month. Been so bad, goals dried up. Can't stand McStay. The AFL watched long playing finals, soft draw, bottom 8 sides, last 5 games, easy home games, as you mentioned. Cameron's a flog. Anyone can kick 11 against North. Did the whole all of our team even kick 11 against North? Who are now the new West Coast Eagles. How do you blow 10 points clear on top and dish this shit up the past month? Can you play more in another position? Well, I've been saying for years, play him as a forward. As mentioned, Howe has been the big loss. Ash Johnson not even good enough at VFL level. Cox, Hoskin need to go. Had enough chances. Melfoy Serendipity, who's a Carlton friend of mine. Not true. Hey, Malfoy. Not true about North Melbourne. Carlton could have kicked 11 against them. Okay, so he used my humour. I used his.
Humour. It's a difficult concept.
Yeah. Collar, 19.
Who?
Collar.
Collar.
Yeah, I think he's a Klingon. You two lads should have your own TV show. Great Collingwood content. Would rather listen to watch you guys than that old witch Caroline Wilson. Don't let Turts hear you say that.
Didn't someone reply to that one saying that Caro's better looking than us?
No, I didn't say it. Like, I took the messages down at a certain time, so if anyone responded...
It was a funny gag, though. Because she's not.
Third Eye Wizard. Totally cooked now. Fuck me. 3 games clear on top, and now, at least on this channel, it is okay to be honest. The rot started the King's birthday, like you said, but the most delusional supporters don't want to hear it because it hurts. Far out, it's a joke. I am not watching the game against the Hawks. Ginnivan will kill us and rub it in. Not interested in that. Dean, Markoff, McStay, Long should not be playing. Agree. Our best were older players. It's a worry. The last 4 years have been awesome and a great ride. The roller coaster is now on the way down. All part of the fun. I think it's a bit unfair to call it a roller coaster. It's more like, if you've been on Instagram...
It's a shit coaster.
No, but if you've been on Instagram, they've shown like some like fair where there's rides, and it's just like, you know, coming down, and then the rails crash and the whole thing goes down like in a total disaster. That's what Collingwood's been. McRaniac, the going Hill would be better for the run. Well, Hill did get the runs. And we get Howe and Frampton back this week. Well, we got Howe sort of back.
Getting him back for a few seconds.
McCreary is the only best 23 player missing now. No more excuses. Vera's son.
You could almost say a raft.
Donatoni, 0.
What, is that a type of pasta?
That's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, isn't it?
Donatoni.
Yeah. I've been watching the Pies for 46 years. The eye test doesn't look great now. Of course, all will be forgotten should we smash the Hawks. I guess it won't be forgotten. Stephen John, 1162. No mention of Harrison boys going forward. Yep, totally agree. Sorry, that was an omission of us. We're talking about like younger players to come up. So Harrison looks like he has some ability.
Yes.
Yep, totally agree. Sorry.
I mean, we only get to see it on Channel 7 streaming on a VFL night.
Yep. Unless you're Carlton and Essendon, you don't get to see anything on Channel 7.
Just pull the plug. Fuck this shit, they reckon.
XX Jeff XX 5555. Hoskinelli has only had 2 bad games.
Does he want to go to the same test, same of the eye test that the guy who's been watching?
Was good in many of the wins, but yes, he's getting on, and Allen will take his regular 22 spot, but not the problem. Problem is when they don't try, they look second rate. When they dig in and connect, they are the best at it in the league. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, that's one of the things I think we talk about, because it's such an effort-based, pressure-based game plan. If they're off, then it falls apart. Timothy O'Kane, he's a friend of yours, isn't he?
No, he's yours.
Chin up. I think the Pies will get back winning. But we need young talent now going forward. Time to think of the future.
What is he
we've got memory, and he's only 31.
Does he think we should get Johnny Young involved?
Wow. You know, I was hit by a car worse, and it was less painful than that.
Do you know what was more painful? Thursday night.
Yeah, I thought you were going to mention Ryan Johnson. Double X Jeff, Double X 5555 again. I agree on everything, Ray Houston. And the excuses. Although he has defended well in big games early in the year, he's surely playing injured. Been in and out many times and has no acceleration at the moment. Yeah, or maybe, I don't know. Third Eye Wizard. Halfway through this, about time Collingwood content creators speak honestly about the Pies. They look like they changed the game plan to the Nathan Buckley game plan. It is like watching 2021 Pies or 2017 Pies. Ouch, this year is going to be another 2-11 year, except we won't have the misery of watching a losing grand final. So that is some consolation. I guess it would be.
So the optimism's high, I'm hearing.
What's our first draft pick here?
Have we traded it away?
Oh, that's what I'm wondering. George U3K. Best and most honest Pies footy show. No sugarcoating, down to earth reviews. Always make me smile with your dry humour.
It's not dry.
So I got 2 others.
Are they good?
I've sort of mixed up the order because I wanted to go back to them. So, Matthew Powell, 9403. Ha ha, no premiership for Collywobbles.
That's probably true.
Does the Collywobbles thing apply though?
I think it's just that go-to thing now. That any time that we miss a game, it's the Collywobbles.
They did win the flag 2 years ago.
I know, you wouldn't think that had nullified?
Yeah. No, you
We buried the Collywobbles after 90, you know.
Yeah.
They're in a grave at Victoria Park.
Well, you think you'd come up with a better insult than Collingwood. No, better insult than ha-ha.
It's up there with that one about being a cooker. No one actually fucking knows what it means, but it just feels like it's something that has to be said.
Yeah.
The Collywobbles. Oh, there's never gonna lose the Collywobble website.
I think the Collywobbles only applied to actually losing grand finals, not to just losing games.
Well, it's any game now. It's anything. You draft Dan Houston, it's the Collywobbles.
Collywobbles?
Collywobbles.
Because he's injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah, more than one problem.
T-Vog.
What?
That's his name. Meh. So this is after the Brisbane analysis. Meh. Back to coaching. Have some faith, guys.
Yeah. What a faith.
How much did you enjoy that comment when I sent it to you post-game against Hawthorn?
Not very much. I might have been a bit angry.
Just a bit?
Just a bit.
So how's the faith now?
It's apparently it's wonderful.
Does that show like a level of delusion though?
I think it is. There is. I mean, there's no hiding the fact. I think that about 75% of our supporter base live in sunshine and lollipop land. I don't think we've ever hidden from that. I mean, there's realities, and then there's blind faith, or blind love, or whatever. And I think most of them are just comfortable sitting there going. It's like that meme, the one with the dog sitting there at the whole fucking room's on fire, and he's sitting there at the coffee table drinking his coffee mug, and that just says it's fine. I think that's where a lot of Collingwood supporters live.
I still don't know where you're seeing this meme. Okay.
I'll show it to you later.
No, don't. Alright, so we're sort of flagging there was form issues, the issues of Houston, other problems, and they've all come true. So if anyone's still sitting there going, oh, we could turn this around, I encourage you to seek psychiatric help. Not just psychiatric help. Go to an institution, get the whole team of psychiatrists. I got a cold, so I'm delirious. But get all the help you can. There are major problems, and it really frustrates me when you see Collingwood supporters just go, no, it's all fine. It's all fine. These are the people who are on the Titanic, standing on the deck, playing around with ice, going, the ship's not going to sink as the ship was sinking. It's sinking. How do you fix it?
It'd take a miracle.
And it's that saying, I can't remember what it was.
It'd take a miracle?
No, but you can't address
all I need is a miracle.
Well, anyway, you can't address a problem until you acknowledge it exists. So, all these people only... Oh, now you have to acknowledge it, but previously you didn't acknowledge there were issues.
You can't stick your head up your own ass when your head's already up there?
It could be it. But yeah, it just... That frustrates me because it's just such a fucking myopic view that everything's okay until it's not. And then there'll be excuses. You were 10 points clear on top of the ladder. You have fallen away, and now we don't know where you're going to finish. It's not entirely in your hands anymore, which it was.
No, and it was for a number of weeks, and we blew it.
I mean, arguably,
and I think that's the bit that makes you the most angry, is that you were the masters of your destiny there, and you screwed the pooch.
I mean, if they beat Adelaide, then they beat Melbourne, sorry, not North. They'll shore up the second spot at the very least.
I believe so, because at the moment we've dropped to third, so Crows and Geelong are on top. I don't think anyone that can threaten us has a percentage, assuming we don't get smashed again.
Well, you can't assume that anymore.
Well, we can't, because we saw today that West Coast pushed the Crows, so they're obviously shit. And we're shit, so by that logic, we should win next week. Well,
look, here's the thing too. I mean, McRae said it in the presser. He goes, our fans come to watch us fight to the end, and we didn't do that today or tonight. He
said we fight and win.
Yeah, wrong song. But that's why he apologised. But
is that because he got the wrong song?
Because we got smashed. So the last couple of games we've lost pretty comfortably. So you can't sort of hang your hat on, hey, well, at least if we lose, it'll be a close game, whatever. It's not. We could get smashed right out of the top four. into the bottom four. Who the fuck? Yeah, depending on the results. I mean, if we can finish as low as 9th, depending on results.
Yeah, that was like... I'm not sure whether it's still the case. I don't think we can actually drop out of the 8 now.
Right, but even as improbable as that would have been, if we could finish as low as 9th, that means we could finish anywhere in the 8, depending on results. Unless we haven't looked at the maths of it.
Have we factored in the collywobbles?
What do you think about, like, I noticed that on the couch, hey, producer on the couch.
You talking about when you and I were on the couch before?
Yeah, that doesn't...
Oh, the show?
Yeah.
Oh.
Someone right now is thinking you're gay. Not there's anything wrong with that. But,
which one? Is he good looking?
How is On the Couch actually stealing some of our content? Oh, sorry, borrowing some of our content.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm sure it's a coincidence. But there seems to be some stuff that we talk about that a few weeks later makes its way into the media. And I have no doubt the media troll
Just
websites and YouTube and all that sort of thing because they're lazy fucks and couldn't do their own work.
Well, some of them do.
Who? Like John Ralph?
No.
Well, you don't have to work at being a John Ralph, do you?
You just exist to fucking troll X and say stupid things, and it's like they have no basis in reality in it. You just and this again, we were talking about this. You just say anything. The club's not going to come out and deny it, and then if it doesn't happen, you just say, "Well, they didn't go that way."
No, I'm certainly not big noting us or anything like that. Am I? Should I? I think we should.
Yes, you're big noting.
Because we're not affected by the collywobbles. We're like Superman. He's not affected by the collywobbles. But it's...
Well, you know, I did run the fuck... This is serious. So, because I was so alarmed, I fucking went to... What's it called? The AO Centre? IO Centre? What's our home?
AIA Centre?
Yeah. I went there, and I was going to fucking warn them, and Craig McRae was standing at the door going...
Superman, Man of Steel.
What a shit joke.
Yeah, one of the worst scenes in cinematic history.
Worse than
Thursday Night?
He's just a dog.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen. and Collingwood.
Remember you fucking went to the IS Centre and there's this big fat animal on the ground and you milked it. Sorry, just got the Star Wars through. You milked the bosom for great milk.
That's not how the collywobbles work.
Jesus. I'm delirious. Yeah, sorry, what are you going to say? Something?
Fucking just...
What do you think about...
win the next 2 games.
So what do you think about the Adelaide? Any chance?
No, we're fucked.
I could give us some chance.
Do you know what the worst part of it out of the Eagles almost beating them today is when the Crows beat us by 58 goals this week, how much fucking salt gets rubbed into our wound that the Eagles can push them and we can't.
If this was a game where Mick Malthouse was coach, I'd actually be pretty confident we'd win because he was so good at, like, when he took us on the road, just turning around whatever the fuck form was and giving it a really competitive effort. With McRae, I don't know. We tend to travel well.
Hang on, but you're forgetting they haven't beaten us since 2016.
Haven't they?
So therefore...
Are they due?
We win. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I love statements like that. And looking at as good as they are to hear, it just means you're one game closer to the time where that's no longer a record.
Yeah, if we fuck this up, then, well, that's pretty much it. But, like, I'd like to... Not saying that, you know, I'm happy if we lose, but I'd fucking at least be happy if you put in some effort.
That'd be a good start.
All right. So, any
final thoughts? I don't know. Would you rather get smashed and know ultimately that you're going to be shit, or would you like some more false hope if we went down by 5 points?
If we went down by 5 points, at least I could actually think, hey, maybe they're going to come back.
Well, that's false hope.
Yeah. Well, look, I'll go back to the Bulldogs game in the Bulldogs season 2016. They were shot by the end of the year, and that 1 week break really galvanised them. They got players back up. So it potentially could turn it around. It needs a lot of things to fall into place. I think they really need to rethink that. My biggest issue right now is you're not changing anything and you keep getting the same result and you're still not changing anything.
Isn't that the definition of insanity?
Yeah, and it's almost like they thought, well, DeGoey will come back and that'll fix a lot of things. And it hasn't, and there's no slide on DeGoey. It's just you need to be a lot more proactive in how you're going to take us forward because this is broken down and you can't just expect it to start up. It's not going to happen. And it's a concern also that I don't know what they did last year at the bye, but it seems like they did the same thing this year at the bye because they've had the same result both times, which is catastrophic failure following the bye.
Yeah, it's just concerning. It's 3 years in a row.
Yeah, so, and, you know, I don't know. I mean, we'll talk about it anyway. So, final thoughts, not anything?
Just fucking win.
Yeah. All right, that's it from us. Subscribe, like, leave comments, share us. Share us with Craig and Cray. Hi to the producer of On the Couch.
Or share us with your hot women.
The other... I didn't say that. And other shows. All right. Later.
I'm John Newcomb. He didn't see it coming, did he?
That felt like a long one.
That's what she said.